Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Omer. Today we're going to be talking about how to grieve, meaning how to grieve with somebody who has experienced a loss or who is grieving, how to grieve with someone who is grieving. A lot of people necessarily don't know how to go about that, and sometimes their actions might come off as if they have the person's best interest at heart, but they're just being selfish and they don't know. It's not as if it's not something they do consciously. It's an unconscious action by them. Sometimes it might be unconscious, but at this time I didn't want to say that people really go out of their way to act in an inappropriate way towards somebody who is obviously grieving and who is experiencing loss. Now, this video was practically inspired by Chrissy Teigen. Now, Chrissy was recently harassed online for sharing the loss of her unborn child online. Now, the thing that people don't understand is Chrissy is a big sharer. She shares a lot of things about her experiences, about politics, about people, even about her life. So she's a big sharer on Twitter. She's quick to share about things, something that brings her joy, and the banter is also something that she enjoys. Someone that also knows how to take criticism. Now, what I feel is unfair is how she was so judged and harassed online for sharing that particular very sensitive and very emotional part of her life with the world. As everything was playing out, you can tell that when she started having issues with the child, she shared it online. When she was in the hospital, she shared it online also. When they were talking about complications with the pregnancy, she also shared that bit online too. And when the loss happened with her unborn child, she also shared it online. And people were wondering why she shared that particular thing online. I feel at that point she felt the need to say something about it, because there were already previous communication that supported that. There were already things that she had already put out online that were saying that were talking about the progress of this particular pregnancy and how far it was going. She was literally just keeping us up to date with what was happening in her life. But what really hits me deep is you can't tell somebody how to grieve. You can't tell somebody this is how you should grieve when you lose somebody, when somebody hurts you, when something happens to you. You need to coil in your cocoon in isolation and weep and cry. You need to show us the pain, because that is the accepted way to grieve. That is not the accepted way to grieve, because grieving is personal to the person who is experiencing loss or that emotion. You know, nobody has a right in any way to tell you how to grieve, to tell you how to handle your loss or this thing that is bringing you such pain and so much emotion. A lot of people are going to tell you that during the phases of loss, you're going to experience things like denial and, oh my god, I can't believe he's not dead, no, that did not happen. Then there's isolation, it's a lie. Then there is the anger, then there is bargaining. You could have been me, not you. Why didn't they take me? Why didn't you do that to me? Then it's also the situation of depression. A lot of people pass depression when something heavy has happened to them. Then eventually acceptance. But in the realistic way, if you're going to look at things very realistically, even though these steps are very key, you're going to pass all of these steps for you to eventually get over your loss. Or if you're having all of these things happening to you, it's almost like something has happened to you. But I feel that the first thing that happens to you when you experience loss is confusion. And when you are confused, you literally go to the thing that you normally do because it's something that is normal. So you really it's almost like you're trying to get back to how things used to be. So because you are confused, because you want to bring order to your life and to your environment, you go to how things used to be before everything just went out of place. And I feel that was what happened and why she decided to share that particular moment to her. Plus the fact that is something that she normally does. It's something that she does on a normal day. It's not something that just happened and just transpired out of nowhere. It's not like it just happened. This is something that Chrissy does every single time. This is how she does things. And when she did it and when she shared it, I felt it is something that she does. So why didn't we just accept it that way? Because we're just too quick to just say this is not how somebody is supposed to type. This is not how somebody is supposed to grieve. But you don't understand grief until you have been in that person's shoe, until you are going through what that person is going through. Somebody can lose somebody, the love of his life, and the next thing you are seeing him in the club. Grieve, controlling grief, handling grief, accepting grief comes in different forms for different people, and that's why in today's video I'm just going to tell you guys how to be with somebody that is grieving. And the first thing right off the bat is empathy, not pity. Empathy. You need to understand that this person has lost somebody very important to them. That is why when you lose somebody that is important to you, your friends come to you and they're with you. There's some friends that will be with you, and people looking from the outside in might think, oh, this person is a horrible friend. How can he go to the club with his friend that just lost somebody? Nobody understands that, because that is not how you should grieve. That is not how somebody should grieve. You cannot grieve and go to the club. You cannot grieve and be going out. You cannot grieve and be laughing. Everybody wants to see you bawling out in tears, crying, rolling on the floor, screaming out of your mind. I'm not trying to say that people that go through those experiences or those emotions or those actions are not grieving, but that doesn't mean that that type of grieving also is applicable to everybody in the world. These are things you should not do when a friend, a colleague, an acquaintance, a family friend, somebody close to you has lost something, a pet, a family member that is close to them. Never say, this is what God wanted. When you come and say, when you're trying to grieve somebody and say, okay, because you're trying to unlock the motivational side of you and be that key speaker in their life, and you're trying to start, with all of these key pieces that you've been hearing online or quotes, this is God's plan. At that point in time, this person is in a very fragile state, mentally, physically, psychologically. The last thing you want to do is to bring God into this picture and say, oh, this is what God wanted. I know I'm not against the fact that this is not what God wanted, or it's not His plans, or it is not already predestined. I mean, know that it's something that it's possible that that's what it is. But at this time, that is not what this person wants to hear, because anything this person hears can be taken out of context. Because sometimes it's almost like when you're reading a text message, how you send a text message is not how this person is going to be reading that text message. So at that point in time, the person is extremely fragile. They're not really thinking clearly. They're experiencing loss. At that time, they're confused. They're agitated. They are going through a tsunami of emotions internally that they cannot interpret what you're saying in how you're trying to say. So when you come and say, oh, this is what God wanted, this is going to give the person the idea that, I hate God. They're going to make this person hate God by saying, oh, this is what God wanted, because you're now putting a blame on something else. Just putting a blame on something and saying, this is what this person wanted. I know it's not your plan, but this is what this person wanted. The person now saying, it is now this person's fault. It is him that caused this thing to happen to the love of my life, to my friend, it is him that caused it. Never say it is what God wanted, even though in the scheme of things it might just be what He wanted. But at that time, never say that. You're just going to make the person hate God or hate whoever it is at that point in time that was the reason that caused the loss of this person's life. Another thing is that don't also say it's something that is bound to happen. You cannot tell somebody that the love of their life was bound to die. They know that death is imminent. This is going to happen. It's going to happen, but it's not something that is bound to happen. What are you trying to say? You know, the person might not be able to say it at that time because they don't know, like, the person is trying to console me, especially trying to be there for me, but the person is enraged, in confusion. Their mind, they're already having conversations internally, mentally with themselves, that you are now bringing your own comments and suggestions, that you're now complicating, now convolute things and mess things up more for them, that it's psychologically ruin them there up there. Don't ever say this to somebody that's grieving, especially something that is very, very recent. Never say this to that person. Also, I too have lost somebody. Now, I know that most people have lost somebody, and when you are now in a situation where you want to comfort somebody that is obviously grieving, you want to now say, okay, you know what, I too have lost somebody. You want to bring your situation to this situation and tell them that, oh, you are not alone. No, you are not alone. It's not something that you want to start bringing into this mirage. No, don't do that. Or during this communication, don't ever do that. I too have lost somebody, even though it is a great way for you, it's a good thing to do, but never do it. When somebody is grieving, you need to remove yourself from the equation. Be selfless, be disinterested in yourself, and be more about that person. Put that person first. Put the thoughts of that person, the emotion of that person, the well-being of that person, the psychological trauma, everything. That person becomes the key frame, the key target, the key interest, the key point of view in that story. We're all read about stories, but in this particular script, this person takes priority. Emotionally, you want to bring this person first. You want to encourage the person. See, just be there for the person. Don't start bringing your own mess. Don't start bringing your own situation to this person and trying to tell them that, me too, I have lost somebody. You have lost somebody now. Now we are both losers in the scheme of things in life. No, don't ever say that. Don't leave that for a later date, maybe 6 months after, 1 year after, when you guys are just talking about something random and the topic presents itself, and you're like, oh, you know what, I also lost so and so person in my life. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that. And you're like, you know what, I just didn't ask, and when you lost whoever you lost, I just felt this was your pain, it was your hurt, and I wanted to be there for you. That was not when I should, because it is not when you should bring your hurt to that person. No, it's when you should be there for that person. So first things first, empathy. Be empathetic. Have an apathy for what that person is going through. Be selfless. Don't be selfish. You might be selfish and you might not even know that, oh, I'm acting in a selfish manner. I'm acting in a way that is self-concerning. I'm acting in a way that is feeling only myself. Because that pain that you have lost somebody is, even though we all continue to feel that pain, but that pain is not current now as it is for this person. That pain is something that you have learned to deal with time. But this pain that this person is passing through at this moment is new, it's fresh. It's like an open wound. Your own is like a scar, you know, but like this person's wound is open. You can see the gory things, the blood, the goop, everything is coming up. It's fresh, it's new, it's now. Don't think your pain does not match this person's pain in any way, shape, or form. So don't ever do that. Another thing is that it gets better with time. Yeah, it's a good thing to say that it gets better with time, but that is not what this person wants to believe. You can't tell somebody that has lost somebody, their pet, their dog, or this human being that has been with them all through, that they've been friends with for like forever, that this pain will get better with time, because It's an emotion and a relationship that this person wants to hang on to for dear life. They want to hang on to the memory, they want to hang on to the experiences, the laughter, they both share, the joy, all of the actions that happen in their life. They want to hang on to this experience. So when you tell them that the pain is fleeting, what they think is their love for this person is fleeting. It now builds more agitation towards what that person is currently facing. Never say that to that person. You can bring it up in a later date, but when it is fresh, that newness, no, don't do that. Then everyone experiences this in their life. That means in every family. I remember when I lost somebody that was close to me, and somebody said, "Don't worry. It's normal. It's something that is normal. In every family, they lose somebody. In every family, somebody must die. This is obvious in everybody's And what I took from that is that, that means it's just not happening to me. Everybody too has to suffer death in their life. So I started to look at families. I started thinking, this person has lost somebody. Okay, then we are normal. This person has not lost somebody. I'm like, okay, with time that person will lose somebody. Then this person, people are still complete. It made me have so much rage. Because whatever you're telling somebody at that very, very critical stage, at that very fragile state, stays with them for a very long time. You don't want to start saying things like, somebody loses somebody there. There are people that never lose somebody in their family. There are people that never lose something. They people that their best friends from childhood are their best friend till they're like old and very, don't ever say that line. I know at that time it might be something that would seem as a comforting statement to somebody who is experiencing loss, but no, it is not, because that person is going to carry that mentality that everybody's going to lose somebody, and they're already counting it. You are like one person. No, you don't want to sow that seed, that seed of that kind of seed. I don't want to call it envy, pain, vindictiveness, and people that you don't even know about. Like somebody's life and you're just counting waiting for that somebody there. No, don't do that. You don't want to sow that seed. That seed of pain to somebody like that. When they are going on in life, they carry on that pain. Never do that. Don't ever go on with that. Don't ever judge how they decide to heal or how they decide to grieve. People are quick to say, okay, when something bad happens to you, when the love of your life breaks your heart, when you lose somebody that is really, really important to you, the first thing that happens is that you start to cry, you start to pray, you recoil, you start to cry, pain in your face, everything. Everybody grieves differently. Some people it can come in such a shock that the first thing that they want to do is they're calling their friend, let's go to the bar, I want to drink, let's go. That is what. Don't judge that person. When somebody says that, go with them. Anything you want to drink a bit, drink and party. Drink. They are trying to subdue the pain. They are trying to suppress it. They want to suppress it with either drugs, they want to suppress it with either alcohol, they want to suppress it with something. They were trying to suppress that pain. Go with them. At least they called you. Go with them. Go and enjoy life. During that process, if you're with them, you will understand that you see them break down. They might be in the club and they are not in the club. Their body is there, but their mind is not there. They are far. Their song might come on, but they are not there. They just don't want to. It is still in that denial part that they're trying to still comprehend what has necessarily happened to them. They might be confused, their emotions are everywhere. They want to be distracted by something that does not make them think about that loss that they're currently experiencing. So don't judge. However somebody wants to grieve. The person wants to take drugs, wants to drink, wants to swim, wants to travel, does not cry now. I don't know, people are so expectant that when you grieve, when somebody dies, you want them to start bawling out at that time, and if they don't cry, it means that they never cared for that person. They're like, Some people don't even know how to even cry before others. Some people don't understand it. At that time, they are still very confused. I remember when I lost people that were very like my best people in this life. I don't think anybody necessarily saw me cry. But in the night, I could not sleep. I was distracting myself with anything and everything, anything that could cause me a distraction. When I saw people laughing, I was there. When I saw people doing party, I was there. When I was just anything that would make me forget the reality of things. But when I was finally on my own, and that distraction was no longer there, the emotions came, memories came. Don't ever think that just because somebody's not crying in your presence doesn't mean the person is grieving. Just don't ever do that. People grieve differently. People might grieve and be eating. They might go and be eating. That is their way of grieving. They might be grieving and they are partying, they are clubbing, they are drinking, think they are happy. They might be grieving and they are crying. They might be grieving and they are laughing. They are laughing. But even when you that know that person, you know that the laughter is not a normal laughter. It's a hysteric laughter. You know, the way the Joker laughs. It's not a normal laughter. It's not a laughter from joy. It's a laughter from almost madness. When you're like, why are you laughing? No, you're laughing. The person is not laughing. The person is. It is not the person. So don't ever judge how somebody decides to grieve. That is how they are trying to get in touch with what is currently happening at that particular time in their life. That's how you're trying to come to terms with, oh my God, I think I've lost somebody that really important to me. All you need to do is just stay with them. If they want to do that, do it with them. They call you, let's go with them. But don't say, you're supposed to be no, it's not your place to say to tell somebody how to grieve. Then another one is, I know how you feel. Really, do you know how I feel? Do you know how I feel? Now let's go back to Chrissy Teigen. She had to get an evac for her child that wasn't born. A lot of people have suffered that kind of experience. A lot of women have suffered. But would you say that woman A who lost her child stillbirth and woman B who, do you feel they understand their level, they understand the same thing when it comes to loss? They don't understand the same thing. Not the same thing to her. It's not going to be the same thing for this person. It's great. They are two totally different experiences, two different emotions, and it's even worse when you haven't even experienced it before. Now, how do you feel? You know what I feel. Don't ever say, because it is almost like a cause of anger. The person will like, how do you know what I feel? It's already going in the person's head. It might not say to you, but in the person's head, it's almost like, how do you know what I feel? How do you know the pain I feel? How do you know that this is really hurting me? How do you know that this is paining me in my heart? How? You don't know. All you should say is rather say, I can only imagine what you're passing through. Because you can only really imagine it. You don't know it. You cannot feel it. It's not the same thing. So don't try to say that. Don't say I know what you're feeling because you have suffered loss. No, we love differently. So how you are feeling is not how I'm feeling. So feel yourself why I feel myself. Like feel your loss why I feel my loss. Don't imagine that you know how I feel. Now these are the things that you should do. When somebody loses somebody, go there. Be there for them. That is the first thing you need to do. Be there. Just be there. Just come. Something happened to this person. Go to that person. Go to that person with the alacrity of with a fox. Go there like with the hair. I think hair is fast. So go there like a cheetah. Just be there. Drop everything and go there. Just sit with that person and listen, because this person will be talking. This person will be bawling out. You just be there for that person. Go to that person and be there for this person. Number one. Number two, allow them have their way. If they, like I said earlier, I'm going back to my previous point, if they want to go to the club, allow them do that. If they want to eat, allow them do that. If they want to do something that might not be ethical to you, not as long as it doesn't hurt somebody else, allow them to do it. Allow them to do something that might feel as a sort of an escape for them at that point, that they feel if they want to travel at that point, and you're like, do you want to come with me? I don't know how that is feasible for you, but if you can go with that person, go with that person. Tell your body that, see, something happened, a family member, I can't make it. Go with that person. You need to be there for that person at that time. That person is extremely fragile. The person needs your companionship, and the person wants to make sure that you are there for them. So you want to go with that person, go with that person, go to that person. Allow them do what they want to do at that point in time that makes them feel good, that makes them feel like they have a support system, they have somebody that understands them, they have somebody to rely on. Always be present. I remember this one guy, a lady was sharing a story that she recently lost her son, and the son's friend came to see her. Now, he was there with every other person that was in that place, family, friend, but everybody eventually left, but he never left, he was there. Now, to her, she was thinking of suicide. She was saying that, okay, you know what, when everybody leaves, I'm going to kill myself. But this boy's friend that was in his friend's mother's house now, he didn't leave. It's not because he felt that she was going to kill herself, but he just couldn't leave her there on her own. So he stayed. He did not cry there. No, he did not say anything. He just sat and he was looking at everybody. He was welcoming guests, the things that she could not do. He was there, he was welcoming guests, he was being there. But he never left. Night came, he was still there. You're like, you know what, I will stay one night, I'll stay there. He stayed there for a week. And that changed her perspective, and she didn't take her life any longer. Now you see the need for you. I'm not saying that a week is enough for somebody not to change their minds about suicide, but that action alone, which he did unconsciously, made her not take that kind of drastic action to kill herself. So people don't understand the value of just being there for somebody in need. You don't necessarily have to do something. You don't necessarily have to buy things. They're not bad, but be present, be there for that person, so that in case she needed something, she wanted to get something, wanted to buy something, he was there for her. And that was all that was all that mattered. And of everybody that came, he is one person that she remembers out of everybody that came. Everybody that loses somebody, let me tell you something, everybody that has lost somebody, they always remember everybody that came to them when they lost somebody. You might lose a family member. That person that is grieving, you feel that the person is into themselves so much, but they know every single person that came to them when that thing happened. And they also know everybody that called, that texted, that sent a message, that couldn't come, maybe they were out of state, they sent a message, they called and said, okay, trying to check up on you, I hope you're doing good. And they know everybody that was present, and they know people that did not come at all. And that will change your perspective on life and who they call friends. So be there, come, especially if this person was a dear friend, is a good colleague, be there for that person. I have made the excuse and make mistakes of not being there for people who needed me there, and I understand how they feel about me now, and when we eventually sat and spoke, and how they felt about me not being there, and it hurt my feelings about the things that I felt did not matter, really matter to them. And when I personally went through a situation like that, I understood what they were feeling and how it made them feel. Now, if somebody is important to me and something horrible is happening, I am going to be there for that person. I am going to be there. Like, I will be there for that person. If I'm out of state, I'm going to call that person, text that person, go to tell that person. I want to ensure that we are having conversations. You want to be there, be present for that person. The people, like I said again, anybody that has lost somebody, they know the people that were there, people that came to them, people that were in their house, in their homes, with them all through that whole situation. They also know the people who called, texted, and sent a message. They know them. So don't ever take it as it's just, no, it is not. It's a very serious situation. Now, also allow the excesses. Allow them whatever they want to do, you want to do anything, allow them. Allowance is key. Allow them to anything they want to drink, and they want to be lying down, allow them. They don't anything, allow their excesses, allow their anger, their temperament. They might be really, really angry, really very unbearable. They might be screaming. Allow it. Person is grieving. Person is in a very fragile state. You want to be there. Allow their excesses. It might not be something that is normal for you to do on a normal day, but for that person, it is a critical thing that you're passing through and you want to be there for them. Don't take it as something that's normal. No. Take it as a serious situation and be there for them. Also support them physically, emotionally, psychologically, and if you can also support them financially by buying things, ensuring that they're taking their meals, eating, they always remain hydrated is also very key and important when somebody is passing through loss. If you can cook for them and bring, because honestly their mind is not in food, their mind is not there, but you want to encourage them to keep eating. You want to encourage them that, okay, you know what, you need to have this. Buy lots of fruits are nice for that too. Also, you need to just be there. Send them a basket of roses if you cannot make it. Do something, just support them in some way. If you cannot be there physical and emotional support, you can send them something, a parcel, a gift, a card, buy something. Just support them in the way you know how. Then finally, when you have allowed their excesses, you need to allow them to, more like a child, you need to allow them to play. When they've had their feel, that's when you now call them, bring them home and tell them now it's time for us to face our demons. You need to be that friend that allows them explore their limits and say, okay, you know what, do it now. Use the other hand and bring them in and tell them now it's time for you to take it all in. Experience loss, experience it. Now let's work on how we're going to make the arrangement made, go on with your life. Don't hold back any pain. Don't allow life stop you from enjoying life, stop you from enjoying experiences. You understand the pain that they're passing through. You want to be there for them, but it's time for them to be there for themselves. Don't allow what has happened to you affect your interaction with people in the future. Don't allow it obstruct what the future might hold for you in other individuals. Don't allow it stop you from loving, because to lose something that you love is very, very painful. It's very hurtful, and some people might try to go to the route of I would never love again. So you always want to ensure that you bring the person back and keep encouraging them that there's still life, there's life after this. We only get stronger, and now you move on. Allow them to do what they want to do, you feel they need to do, or rather allow them to do what they feel they need to do to get over that loss. When you feel they've had their fill, call them for them to, now this is over, now let's keep on going. Now this video has been helpful to you, please leave a like and leave a comment down below. And if some of these things are something that you can live with, or you have had people tell you certain things about loss and how to deal with loss, and you're like, seriously, please leave them down below, because this is a learning phase. People don't know this, so don't take it seriously and don't hold the person to that thing, because that is what the person understands, and that is how the person is deciding, that's how what the person understands to share with you. So you want to use that too. Don't hold it against the person. And please don't. Loss is something that is very, very is something that is a very hard to talk about topic. So it is important that you are there for somebody. And when somebody talks about loss, whether it's your enemy, whether it's your friend, I don't care what that person is, a colleague, a friend. When somebody is passing through something that is like loss of something, a pet, a friend, and people take the loss of pets very, very trivial, which should not be. The loss of a pet is the same thing the loss of a human being. Never take it trivially. Support them. It's key, it's important. Now, if this video has been helpful, let me know in the comments down below. And this is how you deal with loss. And I hope Chrissy gets better and is able to come back to her true self, because we really miss her, and we really want to know how she is necessarily handling the loss and what she's passing through, because she's a big sharer, and just having her quiet for so long is something that we're not used to, but we understand because of what she's passing through. So I'd like you guys to share your love with her and say something nice, and just ensure that you can really take into perspective what she might be passing through at this point. And to anybody that has lost somebody or somebody that you know about currently, take these tips and just be there, show empathy and be selfless. Don't put that person first and yourself second. So I come your way in my next video. My name is Amen. Till then, have a wonderful day and continue sharing love.